Good day, everybody. This is the Hawk. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share. Today, I'm going to bring you a story about Jason Bartlett, an incredible journey to bring attention to the farm murders in South Africa. In January of this year, he embarked on a 2,000-mile journey to the Whitehouse from Texas. He has his story in his own words. At the end of the video, there'll be a number of pictures, not a lot, but enough to get an idea of what he went through. He walked 1,000 miles, and when the pandemic came, he returned to Texas and then decided, when he had the opportunity to get out again after the pandemic started, he cycled the rest of the way. He made it to the White House, and on the way got interviewed by hundreds and hundreds of people in radio shows, and influenced many people for the cause that affects South Africa, namely the ANC and the EFF, and the evil campaign of communism and the persecution of the minorities in South Africa. Here is his story. Everybody, this is the Hawk. I'm with Jason Bartlett, we're both South African born. Jason embarked on an adventure that will probably become a movie one day, hopefully. Given the fact that we're both fighting for the rights of the minorities in South Africa and even the ones that don't have a voice, even the blacks in South Africa who basically are being controlled by a communist government. Jason embarked on a trip from Texas all the way to the White House, by foot at first, and then by bike in the end. And he'll explain his story and why he started it and what prompted him to do it. Morning, Jason. I hope you rested from your trip. I'm going to let you just go right from day one. What prompted you to do this, and what happened along the way? All the people you met, all the radio stations, all the interesting things you saw, and the people you met along the way.
Okay, so thanks, Hawk. I appreciate it. And let me see how great my memory is. And of course, I can share a lot. There's some memories that I will never forget. And a lot of people have reached out to me and just said thank you. And they've looked up to me and they've followed the journey the whole way. And it's been terrific, because it's a very difficult thing to do. As you know yourself, you take the burden of an entire country and you put it on your shoulders and you carry it. I did that physically, and you know, your body does pain, but let me tell you from the beginning. So approximately 2 months before the 1st of January, it was laid upon my heart. As I grew up, everybody always saying someone's going to stand up and say something and do something, but never did I see anybody stand up and say something. And at the age of 33, my reality is I've seen a big, beautiful country known as South Africa deteriorate and fall apart and just fall into utter destruction and into a complete rubbish zone, full of corruption, full of hate, and full of murder. And in particular, there is a racially motivated murder on the farmers of South Africa, the Boer farmers of South Africa, where it's got so bad that they're extremely close to extinction, but they've manipulated them and attacked their masculinity so much that nobody was willing to stand up. And myself, who's spent many a year, and by the grace of God, I've tried to stay unindoctrinated by this world like the universities and the schooling systems do. And I I veered away from this, and that's where it was put on my heart. And I'd say, well, I'm just like the people saying one day someone will stand up. What about that person is you? And I said to the Lord, if this is your will, then you open the doors and you make the programs happen. You make the interviews come. You provide everything. And I said, I will, on the 1st of January 2020 at 8 o'clock, I will start walking from the State Capitol building to the Whitehouse, which was a total of 1,557 miles. And I stated there, I will do this for the glory of God. And if it is the Lord's will, I will have a meeting with President Donald Trump. And I embarked on this journey. First of all, I did a lot of training. Now, I've never walked that far. I enjoy walking, but I've never walked over 1,000 miles before, which I don't think many people have. The closest I've come is maybe watching Forrest Gump 10 times.
Yeah,
But what a...
like him right now.
Yeah, I received that a couple of times, but that wasn't my look. This is a unique look. But yes, so as I decided to do this, the doors started flinging open, you know, and people reached out to me. A very good friend, he's now a friend, his name is Luke. He just said, I will help you get interviews. I will help you start a fundraising campaign. I will help you in any terms, and I don't want any payment, just for you to continue your stride and moving forward. And straight away, I started feeling just incredible. And I have, you know, incredibly gifted in the fact that, like, wow, this is becoming reality. And during the time, I had many people of organizations who claim that they want to help. They try to help and intrude a little bit and say, well, you know, if you do it on this date, then we'll do this. And if you do this, we'll do that. And I just said, you know what, this is not about me. It's not about fame. I don't want anything from this. All I want is to glorify God and to raise awareness and actually make a difference for our people, emotionally and physically and mostly spiritually is where I wanted to endeavor. So after work, I stated to the people where I was working, I said, listen, yeah, there's something unique I've got to tell you, and I'm going to be leaving work. I'm going to sacrifice everything I'm doing, and I'm going to embark on this epic journey because it's been laid on my heart. And everybody just accepted it. When I told my parents, my partner, and several other people, they just accepted it, and they just said, well, that's great, let's do it. So the support that I received was supernatural and incredible. And the first night, I stayed at a friend named Ken, who I met. I met him via Twitter. He reached out to me. He said, if you need a place to stay in Austin, you know, you come over and you stay. And I ended up staying there 3 nights, 2 nights prior to the actual journey starting. And you remember, I've got a cat and 2 ferrets with me and animals and like 10 bags because it was winter. I've never done this. I need my recording studio stuff. I need everything that I have to take with. I've got to, you know, I've got to embark on this. And like I say, I've never walked this distance in my life. So I showed obedience and faith, and at 5 minutes past 8, I took the first step from the State Capitol building, and it started. I still did 33 miles that day.
Wow.
And a young gentleman named Garrett, he walked along with me the whole way. So that was really incredible. My partner walked with me for many of those miles, and another gentleman named Richie, I remember him. He came to video much of it and put it live on Facebook. I also went live. And of course, the adrenaline just was there. It was like incredible. Like, this is really starting to embark. And I will never forget, the reason why I'm saying that is the next day, everything went from a high to more or less a low, because then I realized not every day someone's going to walk with me. I'm going to be alone for most of the day. So my support vehicle, and God bless my support, because they were so incredible, and they, you know, they just selflessly sacrificed their entire time to help me. And I'm forever grateful for that. They would drive to the hotel that we will be staying at. And then whenever I text her or, and say, please come and pick me up, they would come and pick me up, and they would take me to the hotel and would rest, and they would drop me off at the same position the next morning, and I would go forward. So, but the second day, what happened is, obviously I walked on the left-hand side of the road, so that if I could see the traffic coming, because I'm holding a big American flag and I'm wearing this hat, and I was in Texas, so I was pretty much safe, because you got, you know, good conservative people in Texas. And a little bit of crazies in Austin that I left behind, but that was the first day. No worries about that. I had a Coke bottle thrown at me and people swearing at me, but more people saluting me and more people giving me praise than they were giving me criticizing me. Yeah. So the second day, and I'm obviously not going to talk about every day, but just the second day, I picked up a niggle in my left knee, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, Lord, I've just embarked on a massive journey out of faith. I cannot start hurting now. I mean, because it got bad. And I just said a little prayer and I said, please help me along my journey. I need a bit of something. And about 100 feet in front of me, I look down and there's a brand new knee pad. And it's actually for your left knee. And I picked this knee pad up and I just started smiling. And I'm like, this journey is going to be amazing. I put the knee pad on and the pain was relieved, and I actually took your advice after that. I spoke to you because I was getting such pains, eventually shin splints and everything, and I would take Tiger Balm. So thanks for that one, by the way. Really, thank you for that one. Tiger Balm works the best out of everything. I rubbed that down, but you know, during this journey, you get the pain. You know, there's a lot of joy within it because you keep positive. You're speaking to people. You're feeding off what they feed you, but there's also a lot of sorrow. What I'm standing up for is the brutal killings of the Boer people and the persecution and the genocide of a people in South Africa. And it's terrible to have to do that, but you have to show joy and passion. Otherwise you would just eat yourself and deteriorate yourself. So every time I went live, I would like to just preach a little bit and speak a little bit. And then a lot of interviews started reaching out, and I'm talking about a lot. For example, Alex Jones from the InfoWars, which is one of the biggest podcasts in the entire United States, reached out to me. He had an interview. He had me on InfoWars, which was incredible. Then Chad Prather organized that I get taken to his studio in Studio 21 with the Blaze TV. I had a meeting with Sarah Gonzalez there as well. I was on her program, which was just unbelievable, the amount of respect they showed and just the amount of knowledge they had about what's happening, and they just want to help. Until now, we still remain friends, and they reach out and ask how can they help. And you know, from Chad Prather to One American News with Alex Selvey, to many, many more interviews around. I've had articles written about me, and people just went berserk because they realized finally something is happening, something is said and not just spoken about, but actually being done at me, or that I could stop at and speak to. I would tell them, this is what I'm walking for. I'm walking for the persecution and to stop the genocide of the farmers as well as the minorities in South Africa under communism. And people just donated. They donated on my website. They donated to me in person. They offered me meals. They offered me places to stay. And the doors just flung open. And, you know, I even met a 95-year-old gentleman out in Arkansas when I walked through Arkansas. He was a World War II veteran. And he out of his own got into his vehicle when he saw me walking past his house. Then he saw me on Facebook and he drove, and he's 95 years old. He drove like 5 miles outside of his town. And he said, young man, I just wanted to come and salute you and shake your hand. And that's one of the most key parts of just for me personally, that a World War II veteran who fought for everything that we've got right now. And unfortunately, for his own sake, he's alive and has to watch these young people and these millennials and these Generation Z or whatever they call themselves, these destroy the very freedoms that he fought through. And that stuck with me, and that drove me a lot. And as I commenced with this walk, I had many more people reach out for interviews. Countless people give donations on the website, including yourself. You sent a new pair of shoes when I needed them the most. I didn't have to ask. You literally reached out to me and you said, you know, how can I help? And do you need anything like clothes or shoes? And I said, yes, I need shoes. But through you, you know, God used you to provide to me, and I still got those shoes. I'm going to keep them up, and I'm going to put them in a little frame and everything like that. It's just incredible how many people reached out to help. And none of them wanted anything in return, because all I said to them, I said, I cannot give you anything in return. All I can give you is and I can say a prayer for everything of God. And nobody hesitated. They all helped. And then something very miraculous. This is just the walking part. So I got to a place called Cookville. And in Cookville, we had booked. So how it would work in the walk, we would book a Airbnb or a hotel or stay with somebody for 3 to 5 days. Okay, between 3 and 5 days, sometimes 2, because you slowly start to learn, and then the support vehicle would take you to and from, and then you can cook your meals, so it's a bit cheaper, so you save money, and you burn so many calories, you eat so much food. And in Cookville, we had booked an Airbnb for 4 evenings, for 4 nights, and we paid for it, and we spoke to the gentleman and everything, and he said, yeah, we're arriving here today. And all of a sudden he said to us, you know what, sorry man, there's something wrong with the system here. So I just said, well, then so be it. We're a little bit not upset about it, but we found a nice affordable place to stay in Cookville, Tennessee, and he just said, I'm sorry, I can't let you stay here because the Airbnb system is not working. And I said, okay, that's fine, if you can please refund me. And he refunded me, and we booked a place out of the way 12 miles north of Cookville, Tennessee. And it turns out that this was an absolute work of God and gift of God, because what was about to happen that evening is something that I've never seen before in person. We were in this little camper RV that they were renting out, and we heard the phones going off, but we didn't take it seriously because you often get an Amber Alert or alert, but my phone's registered in Texas, so I can't do anything about any alert in Texas. And we left it, and it turns out that there was a massive tornado about to strike, and they were warning us. And we looked out there and we saw it, and the whole camper, the RV was moving, and there was some trees were breaking around us. And we looked down to the horizon towards Cookville and Nashville's way, and there was this massive tornado. And the next day I was being dropped off at the area where I was about to walk. Just absolute devastation. People's lives were ripped apart. People's homes were ripped apart. There were car doors in the trees. There were pieces of house up in the trees uprooted, thrown around. There was even she was on TV when I was walking past there. The car was flung onto the roof. And I found out that the Airbnb where we were going to stay was completely destroyed by the tornado. Wow. So the miracle of us not being able to go and stay there it was awe-inspiring. And that's when every time I felt a little bit down, I would just be revitalized by seeing and experiencing things like this. And I walked through making a live footage and walking through of the pain and the sorrow. And it just reminded me of exactly what my people are going through in South Africa. It's because they suffered the death of 25 people from that tornado, including little children, and it was heart-sore. But as I looked upon it, all I could think about is the lives of South African farmers, how they are just absolutely destroyed by these barbaric, race-motivated murders, and their raping of the farmers, the murdering of the farmers, the slitting of the throats, the pulling of the gouging the eyes out, pulling out the fingernails and drilling them with drills to the brain and the knees and the hands, and how they rape infants just to fearmonger these people so that they can expropriate land without compensation. And that devastation just showed me that it's not easy to build back, but it is possible to build back. And through unity, we can really stand together in South Africa and America and the world, and we can stand up and we can say no to the evils of communism and socialism and people like Cyril Ramaphosa and Julius Malema that encourage the killing of the white farmer in South Africa. When they sing "One Bullet, One Settler," and when they go out and sing at their rallies like they're worshiping, and they start singing "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer, kill the Boer, kill the farmer," sending people out to go and brutally kill our people. I continued my walk, and
I just did a video on all the crosses they put down that road.
Yes,
it went for miles and miles. I just did that video on that, and you're right. Even the South African Human Rights Organization is actually saying that "One Bullet, One Farmer" is not a racist slogan. It is an old freedom fight slogan. It's absolute nonsense. It's incitement. And in the United States, it would be...
No, that's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, and in the United States, it would be classed as the RICO law, because you're inciting people to murder others.
Yeah.
And don't murder them yourself.
That's exactly what's happening there. And it needs to stop, and we need to say something. My heart was so devastated, but so just humbled when I saw that helicopter flying over all those crosses alongside the road. It's really devastating to see that my people are being butchered and killed. But I also have to give credit where credit is due. It's good to see my people standing up as well,
Finally,
standing up
yes.
at the front doors of cliques. I mean, you know, finally getting up, and they just say, well, you can't always play this fake, fabricated racist card. It's time for us to stand up. And if I've put that into one or two people's hearts that can motivate other people to stand up, then my mission is successful, because that's what we need to do. We need to physically stand up and say no to the evils and defend ourselves, because we have a right to live. We have a right to live, and not to live under tyranny and this pagan rule known as the ANC.
Yeah.
And that same type of rule is trying to take over in America. That's why my message is so important. It's not only for South Africans, it's for Americans as well, because what's happening in America, I've seen before, and it paints an image that I've seen before. That's why they try to silence me. That's why they've closed my Facebook account 7 times. They debunked they took away my my GoFundMe, calling it a racist movement, that I'm standing up for the killings of people, that I'm trying to defend people that are being murdered. That's racist in their books. So it really is a time for people to stop being monetized and stop being censored by TV and shadow banned, because I've seen it in person, and it's really unfathomable how evil the people are. And that's why my message to Americans is to wake up, and you need to see this, because I've seen it happens. It's not someone who told me. It's not my granddaddy who told me, or my dad that told me. It's what I've seen with my eyes, and I'm of the age that I can say something. And that's why I'm speaking up and talking. Anyway, just after the tornado hit, something a bit bigger than that tornado was going to hit, and I didn't know it was going to be used for political gain. And then the coronavirus hit. And I had just done an interview, and I had a heavy feeling on my heart about, I need to get back to Texas, because I need to areas. And then it would be such a massive financial burden, because I still had to pay rent back home in Texas, and my bills, like my electricity bills, my cell phone bill. I mean, I couldn't just cancel those, because you get fined,
Yeah.
as you know. And penalized, not fined, but penalized for cancellation. I mean, so I was very transparent, say, hey, I need to raise money so I can pay my rent, so I can do this walk, and hotels cost quite a bit, and so forth. And I didn't want to get stuck in these hotels. So I spoke to the support team. I spoke to the people that are helping me with everything. And I said, I think it might be a wise thing for me to go back in 2 or 3 days' time. And they said to me, actually, we recommend that you go back like right now. So within an hour after I did my interview on Radio Free South Africa, I packed everything into my truck, a support vehicle that we were using, and we got back at like 3 a.m. the next morning into Texas. And I'm glad I did that, because what was about to happen was one of the biggest political scamdemics we've ever seen. And the coronavirus is real, yes, but it has been played politically by the left that is just unbelievable. They're fear-mongering people so that they don't vote in person. They want them to vote by mail, so that there's a fraudulent vote. And a lot of evil started happening, and the masks started to be worn. But now I realized, okay, I thought I'm going to go home for like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then I'll be returning back to my, destination. I didn't have work anymore. I had quit my job because of this. I had sacrificed everything, and I'd do it all again. That's why I'm smiling. I'm just thinking about how amazing it was, because I'm like, I need to find work or something. But then I didn't work for like a month, because what do I do if I start a new work? Do I have to quit that job? I start looking real bad. So eventually someone reached out to me and said, we've got work in Arkansas for you on a farm, and we totally support you. So I moved to Arkansas. I packed all my things, and I moved to Arkansas, and I started working. And then finally we started realizing that, yeah, the coronavirus is real. However, we are being played a lot and fear-mongered quite a lot. So I need to continue my journey. So what I did to keep fit is I bought a bicycle. Actually, before the walk even started, I bought this bicycle to train and keep fit. And I was training and keeping fit. And while I was doing this, I was getting up at like 4 a.m. and cycling several miles, knowing that I'm going to start walking, and I've got only 500 miles left to walk, because I walked a total of 1,057 miles before I was stopped by the coronavirus. And as I continued to train, I realized, you know what? Every time I think of South Africans, I think of people that they just tend to get better. They strive, they're hardworking, they grow, they never sit stagnant. The real good Christian hardworking South African, especially the farmers, they never sit stagnant. They always want to invent something or create something or work towards something. And I'm like, well, I'm riding this bicycle and it's called a track bicycle. So I'm like, okay, this is a cool idea. I've got something on. And I didn't tell anybody. And then it dawned upon me, I was watching a documentary about the foot trackers and how they would take their Bibles and their families and all their belongings, and they would flee away from the evil, and they would go towards free spaces. And in South Africa, they were unoccupied. And I'd be like, that symbolizes everything that we are. And I did the same. So I said to myself, I'm going to order a trailer. And I ordered a trailer. I did a lot of research. And I bought a one-man tent, a sleeping bag, a pillow, a little cook set, and all the little gadgets that I needed, and even the slime for the tires. And I started getting ready for this. And I realized that this was going to be a great endeavor. But now I'm not a cyclist. I respect them now, but I wasn't a cyclist fan, I can say. And I said on the 1st of August, I'm going to not only complete the 500 miles by bicycle, I'm going to cycle 1,000 miles. Turns out I cycled 1,350 miles because your campsites are here, and then you got one there, and then you got one there, and then you got one there. So I commenced with this journey on the 1st of August, and once again, all the doors just opened. I left from the farm where I worked, and a whole bunch of South Africans met me. I even sent you the photo, and there's this massive photo of everybody, and they just stood there, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is incredible. And there's a soft drizzle at that day. And, a lot of people just said, thank you for what you're doing, because we've been silenced. Our masculinity has been attacked, and we're scared to talk. And, I'm not very tall, I'm not very big, but I got a heart of gold for my people. I believe that we are good people. We are hardworking people, and we would add to the community wherever we go. And you can see that by the people that move to Australia, England, because, there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of people in South Africa that are fleeing. They are fleeing from the communist regime known as the ANC. And on this journey, I continued to meet some great people. I stayed with people on these massive horse farms, and they let me camp. I camped. Another tornado was nearby, but it didn't affect me this bad. But I was in a little one-man tent, and my bicycle was flown over, and the tent was blown almost over. I was lying on my side, but no harm came to me. And I did a lot of pre-recorded interviews. And then I met an Amish family towards the end. And I stayed with this Amish family for 3 days. And now you know that they don't have any electricity or TV or cell phones or any perversions of this earth. And they just said to me, there's something very different going on in this world right now. And I just helped them out on the farm by, if you take a look on my Facebook and my Twitter, you can see little videos of the Amish, how they were still cutting hay with these old implements because they don't have vehicles, because interesting fact that there's been more people killed in the automobile since its invention than all the wars of modern times. And it really is incredible. And the perversions of TV, how it's come into our lives and our family. And if you take one commonality between everything that the left is pushing, the one common is the destruction, where you have the man and the wife and then the children and God on top. And that's what they're attacking, and that's what they're destroying. And that's what my whole mission is towards, is to reestablish masculinity in its purest form, and for men to stand up and not be perverted by the left, by forcing women to be mothers by themselves and take the man out. If you look at every advertisement, and these Amish people really just spread that and help me see that everything you do, you look at the advertising on TV, it's all against men. Everything is against men, and they're just pushing women into positions that they don't want to be in, and they making children the kings of the woman. And it's led to absolute mayhem. I mean, we're in the most free country in the world, but look how unhappy everybody is that's so free with the most rights. And they're spewing hatred because they're lost and they're devoured by their own sins. However, what I learned in this is, without love, we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing. And that's where I spiritually knew that even though I only had 69 miles left to go to the Whitehouse, I knew my mission was complete within myself. That even though we are standing up against evil and standing up against horrid times, there is more of a mind game that's going on. That's why I say you have to put your helmet of salvation on, because the devil and all these little minions are scratching at our minds permanently. They're trying to manipulate us, and they do it with TVs and cell phones and all the atrocious things that they're forcing on our children, and with Black Lives Matter, and forcing people to believe that whites are racist without knowing they're racist, and race card that is being fabricated to divide us. And that's what I want people to realize, is that I'm standing up for Black people, Indian people, Chinese people, white South African people, Black American people, Aborigine people, everybody. I'm standing up for the ones that are being fooled. And in South Africa, people of all colors are murdered, but our farmers are murdered in a disproportional ratio, and it is incredible, and it is a crime against humanity, and it is a genocide. There's no other word for it. You can try politicize it and say it's an ethnic cleansing. That is just a genocide. That's exactly what it is. There's a war on our people, and we have to have people stand up and defend themselves now, whether it's physically or emotionally. However, you need to do it out of love. Do not become like them. Do not hate them. Do not resent them. And that's what I learned from these Amish people, is that's when I knew my mission within my heart was complete. And I got on my bicycle, and I had 2 days left, and I knew what was coming up. And I said from the beginning, if it was the Lord's will, I would meet with President Donald Trump. I didn't get to meet him at the end of the day, but I did meet people in the government, and I presented them the paperwork, and I did hand over what needs to be handed over. And now everything is in the hands of God, and I will still be fighting. So I arrived to the White House, and I was about 100 feet to go, maybe about 500 feet to go, and I went live just to say thank you to everybody. And I strategically never told anybody where I was going to be, because there's a lot of crazies out there, especially in these big cities. And I arrived on the 9th of September, just the other day now. And there was a bit of tears, but good tears, because I realized, wow, what I've done has now come to an end. But I knew it was never going to stop there, and it's not going to stop there, because I will fight until the bitter end. I'm trying to take a nice weekend for myself, and then I'll be back, and I'll be releasing quite a few things soon, and interviews, as well as I'm not going into details, but I'm going to be opening a YouTube channel, and I have great interviews lined up there, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully you one of them, of course. And you know, the people that I met with they got a lot of power. They know a lot of people, and they know. The president is very, very familiar that I did my mission, very familiar about and I'm talking exceptionally well studied up on the situation in South Africa. And the ANC keeps on poking at President Donald Trump. And I can assure you, when he gets re-elected, he's gonna poke back, because what they're doing it's incorrect. I mean, America sends so much money to South Africa. Yet South Africa goes out to the American embassy in South Africa and sings "One American, One Bullet," inciting for the killings of Americans as well.
So
and you know that, and I know that's happened.
So just in this last video, I stated that, you know, so they just threatened the United States with helping Belarus and Russia against. They said they would help to fight them. And they said it in Venezuela as well. And they've got these ISIS training camps, and ISIS, Hamas, and Al Qaeda training camps in our military, in the South African military bases. They have no idea. See, now, they have no idea how dangerous that is.
No, exactly. And you know, that's why I'm standing up and saying, hey, Americans, just because I'm speaking about South Africa doesn't mean it's got anything to do with you. It's got exactly to do with you. And that's why I've reached out. And that's why Americans have really supported my mission, because they realize, okay, this guy might be young, but he's seen things that we're starting to see. And, you know, in the big difference between January and my cycle towards the end is that everything I was warning people about in January has already started to unfold, and very quickly and very dangerously. So that's why Americans should not overlook what's happening in South Africa, because that's what's coming to America at an incredibly scary speed, an incredibly scary speed. So we need to defend our freedoms and defend our First Amendment, Second Amendment, and so forth. We need to stand up and say something. And man, I am proud to see a lot of Americans stand up and physically stand up. Yes.
Yeah, and knowing what you just said about this United States giving South Africa so much money, you know I have a petition for sanctions against this, the American government. I have over 55,000 signatures so far, and I want
Ooh,
1
yes.
million. I want 1 million signatures.
I
Because
think we
with
need to do that then.
1 million signatures, it's on every video now that I have. It's in the link below.
Yeah.
That 1 million signatures is a mandate to remove this communist government out of South Africa.
Well, let's get to work on that. I think that's a great idea. Let's get
It's
to
to
work on
stop
that.
all aid to South Africa and put a full economic embargo on the.
It's not going to be nice, but you know what? It's not nice at the moment. It's
No,
horrific at the moment.
and you know, Jason, just like you said, it's not about the people, it's about the love.
Yeah.
My thing is not the people. My point is the ANC government, just like you said, tried to destroy the country completely to keep everybody the same. But instead,
Yeah.
that's just an illogical idea. And instead of just uplifting the black people to a level where they will all have a middle class, they can survive and be highly educated and understand that the ANC is lying to them. They've kept them marginalized, kept them down there, and then manipulated them.
Exactly.
And the excuse is the farmer.
And
it's wrong.
No, and that's exactly what they're doing, and that's why the American mainstream media is covering up what's happening in South Africa, and that's why Americans should be concerned, because the mainstream leftist media like CNN and SMB, whatever you call these fake news outlets, they are hiding it because they want everybody to believe that communism is beautiful and everybody lives in a rainbow nation. And if you go look at South Africa, you can see very clearly that communism and socialism is a detrimental act, and it will destroy America. So we need to keep it out. It's not about the Democrats winning. It's about these specific communist supporting Democrats. If there were good Democrats there that really cared about freedoms and didn't want to murder babies and kill little babies and take everything, all your freedoms away, and force you live under communism, then you could vote for them. But unfortunately, it's come that you can either vote for President Donald Trump or you can vote for communism. That's where Americans need to choose now. And that's why this election is so important. Now, on that note, it's just South Africa has fallen apart because they keep on wanting, all they do again, they throw the race card so that a smoke screen can go up so that they can continue to kill people. And the race card being played on us all the time for absolutely nothing, while our people are being persecuted and murdered for the color of their skin.
And the EFF are being used by the ANC as a distraction.
Yeah.
As a distraction from what they're actually doing.
Exactly. And Hawk, that's pretty much in a little nutshell, as I can put it. That's the journey. I did a total of 2,457 miles on bicycle and by foot, glorifying God and bringing awareness to the situation in South Africa, and just to help keep the freedoms in America, as well as keep America great and keep America away from communism. I do this out of hatred. I stand with people of all color, and I say, please stand with me. Do not be fooled by these people of hate, and love one another and spread a good atmosphere, but also an atmosphere where you can say no to evil, like the ANC government. So thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you for spreading awareness, and thank you for having me on your show as well.
Thank you, Jason, and every South African, including myself, are proud of what you did. It's an amazing journey, and the message got out. I mean, it got out. Yeah, I'm sure you had some people come at you from different angles and try to stop you, but it's the same for me. I get it every day. So it's like a water off a duck's back.
Here I am with a smile on my face.
Exactly, exactly. You did a great job, buddy. You did a great job, and I'm sure we're not gonna hear the last of you either. So,
nah,
no.
Yeah, that's why they're gonna get used to this face. You'll see.
Yeah. Well.
No, but thank you very much, man. I
appreciate it. Thank you very much, Jason, and great job. Thanks for being on the show. Take care.
I said, God bless. Bye.
Cheers.
A very good, very, very, very good morning to each and every single one of you. The time has come. Take a look where I am. Yes, that big monument behind me is the George Washington Monument, and I have reached my final destination. I am here in Washington, D.C. Over there, you've got the Lincoln Memorial, and over on this side, where I'm underneath, you've got my bicycle, and you've got a massive monument, the George Washington Monument. Over there, you've got the State Capitol building. And then last but not least, we have got the White House. Yes, right over there, ladies and gentlemen, is the White House. And it is absolutely awesome. A lot of people thought I wouldn't make it. A lot of people knew I would make it. But you know what? It is September the 9th. And I don't know what the time is because I put my watch off. But you know what? It has been phenomenal. You guys have just reached out to me. You have supported me. I've almost got 10,000 followers on Twitter. And this is nowhere near the end of the actual journey that I am about to embark on, because tomorrow I have some very important meetings. And right now I am got my Keep America Great hat on. And I've also achieved a personal goal. I've reached the White House. I've got only a few hundred feet to go, and I will have just completed a complete total of 2,457 miles. 1,057 of those miles I walked, and this right over here is my final destination. Right there is the White House. That is where I'm going right now. And I just wanted to share this all with you. So thank you so much for all your support, for all your love, for all your prayers. And I just think it is absolutely awesome. Thank you so, so much, everybody. It has been a magnificent journey. I've got thousands of photos. I've met so many friends along the way, and it has just been glorious. But I take none of the praise myself. I give all the praise to the Lord Jesus Christ for carrying me through this journey. There's been brutal negativity. There's been people that have cursed and put evil on, but the good always prevails. And I think it has been absolutely awesome. So thank you so, so much, everybody. If you're looking for me, I will be at the White House, and it is going to be a glorious day. Tomorrow I have all my meetings. I have to clean up a little bit and take the scars of the road off me. And yes, just once again, thank you to everybody who's shown so much support. And just keep your eyes on this space, because there's a lot more coming from me. And you will see photos, and you will also see some great interviews also coming up in the near future. So God bless you all. Have a wonderful day, and just God's speed, and just may his face shine upon you. Bye-bye.